Hello, and welcome to Session 3 of the FIFA Considerations Training. Today's topic is offside. The considerations we're going to be taking a look at today are the three parts of involvement. Prior to involvement, we must consider whether the attacking player was in the offside position at the time the ball was played, and the last deliberate touch of the ball, did it come from a teammate or a defender? So those two have to be in play first, and then we will consider the graphic on the screen of active involvement. Three types of active involvement: interfering with play, interfering with opponent, and gaining an advantage. So interfering with play, we will consider, did they play the ball, actually touch the ball, or did they make contact or touch an opponent? To interfere with an opponent, you can be in the line of vision, you can challenge for the ball, or you can make a clear attempt to play the ball, which has an impact on the opponent's ability to play the ball. So that's if you don't actually touch them, but you're within playing distance, you make a deliberate move, and you affect their ability to play the ball. So the first one is actually making contact with ball or opponent. The second one is no actual contact, but you have an effect on their ability to play the ball. And then the final portion of involvement is gaining an advantage. So this has to be coming off of a rebound or a save from a shot on goal. And then as the ball rebounds back out, the attacker is in an offside position and gains an advantage from being in that position when the ball rebounds back. So those are our three types of involvement. Now, real quick before we move forward, we have a photo of one of the women's national team's top forwards here. Why is Alex Morgan on this slide? Well, the reason being is US Soccer made a change to the handball rule and subsequently also affected the offside rule. So moving forward in the 2021 version of the IFAB law book, handball has been modified to the bottom of the armpit, or what would be considered the end of a short sleeve uniform. So if the ball strikes the area up on the sleeve, it's not handball, but from the bicep down, it is considered handball. Well, what this does for offside is it now makes the top portion of that arm legally playable. So now it needs to be considered when looking at offside. And we're going to see that directly applied in the first clip. Now, this first clip was one of my favorite clips from last year because the assistant referee has three very fast, very tight offside decisions to make. Due to the law change this year, one of these decisions is now different than what it was last year, and we'll get into that. So let's take a look at the first clip. So in our decision, we're actually going to talk about the very first time that the player outside the penalty area swings the ball across. So when number 10 for England, Harry Kane, touches that ball, does the last touch from a teammate? The answer is yes. Was the player in an offside position when the ball was struck? Yes. And then do they actually have involvement? He plays the ball. So let's look at how tight this is. This is a decision that in Idaho, in recreational grassroots soccer, I'm okay if this is missed because this is incredibly tight. But for the sake of discussion, I'd like to look at this clip. This is deemed to be offside. So the yellow line here on the screen is the offside line based on the last point of a legally playable body part from a defender, which would set our offside line. It's not perfectly perpendicular because if you look at the lines here on the field, the camera angle is lined up here on the top of the penalty area, so it's at a slight angle. But if you look right here at the top, you can see the white of the shirt sleeve from this forward, and actually the second forward as well, both passed the offside line. So last year, this could not be taken into consideration, and this player would be onside. But based on the law change, this player is actually considered to be offside moving forward. Next clip.
Perfetto, eccellente.
Bravo Erna, volevo dirlo io.
Dale.
Okay, so we're not looking at the initial play on the long ball. This is once the two forwards get down into the penalty area and one forward plays the ball and the other one is there next to him. We'll show a still image here in a moment, but was the last deliberate touch of the ball from an offensive player? Yes, they're standing side by side. Is the player in an offside position when the ball is last touched? The answer is yes, and we'll show that. But the third part of this is why I really like this clip. The player in the offside position screens the defender from being able to challenge the ball. He actually makes contact, so there isn't the gray area of there wasn't contact, but did he affect them? But he doesn't actually touch the ball here, and it's a very good clip for education. So he touches the opponent, and yes, he's in an offside position. So when this forward plays the ball here, we're already behind the second to last defender, so the ball is our offside line. You can clearly see the other forward has body parts which can legally play the ball behind the ball, or I guess in the attacking term, ahead of the ball, so they are in an offside position on this touch. Then when number 4 comes in to challenge this ball, the forward who is in the offside position screens that defender away, which then involves him in active play. So this is offside. Our third clip came from a match that just occurred last week, Champions League knockout match between Atletico Madrid and Chelsea. The only goal in this match, a very stunning overhead kick from the forward, but it appeared that the forward was in an offside position when the ball was touched. So let's take a look at the clip and we'll walk through it.
Marcos Alonso, Giroud qui va le retourner. Oh là là, quel but! Hors-jeu, mais... Oh là.
So as you can hear, the referee is signaling for offside. The whistle sounded, they are calling offside. VAR does come in and review it, as they do in all Champions League matches. So for the consideration, here is the offside line when this touch occurs. So the forward is very clearly in an offside position. So what is our consideration here, whether he's on or off? The answer is this touch. If you look at whose leg is on top of the other, the defender is actually who kicks this ball up in the air. In an act of desperation, he just kicks it. Now, the law states it just has to be a deliberate play. The quality of the play is not taken into consideration. So the fact that he's just throwing a leg at this, it is deliberate. He knows what he's doing, his time and distance to make that decision, and he deliberately plays the ball, which then means the last touch did not come from a teammate. So is the player in an offside position? Yes. Is the player involved in active play? Beautiful goal. Was the last deliberate touch of the ball from an offensive player? The answer is no. That defender is who played the ball, so the goal stands. So we've gone over 3 parts of consideration here. Actively involved in play, but we brought in the arm because of the change to the handball rule. Not actually touching the ball, but from an offside position affecting a defender, screening a defender. And then here, a deliberate touch from a defender negates the offside decision or resets it, so the attacker is now on. I hope these 3 get a little more clear for you in your mind. Again, at the local levels, we are not looking for finite margins. So the advice from FIFA is, when in doubt, keep the flag down. That doesn't mean I wasn't in position to see what I was supposed to see. it means that I'm here and I see it and I am not clear as to whether there is or isn't offside, we keep the flag down. If the ball goes in the goal, then we can call the referee over and have a brief discussion and see if we can sort it out. But only raise our flag if we are 100% sure offside has occurred. See you next time, guys.